Okay, let me get this together since we're here for another episode. All right. Whew, it's been a good day, long day, busy day. So, what are we on to today? Today, of course, is Wednesday, and if it's Wednesday, we're talking about something comic related. And well, before I get into that, let's wait and get into some of this other stuff first. Let's not just jump on comics. People get excited. So let's talk about what's going on. So in the business, everything's continuing on like it should be. We got back our first level map, I believe. I think I might have told you guys about this. I'm not sure. Our first level map for the Infinite Dungeon. That's going to be coming out very, very soon. I have to finish the other map, which is actually in the bedroom. And I've got to scan under my scanner and start drawing on Illustrator and getting that ready to go. So I've got that I'm working on. What other projects? And we're still, of course, working on New Exodus. That's going on as usual. I'm waiting to hear back from my editor. I'm going to send him a letter probably tonight or tomorrow just to confirm that he has gotten the most recent chapter, hoping that's coming in. But, we want to keep working on that stuff and get that going. Hey, Steve, what's going on? And, it's just moving things in the right direction. So today, we're going to talk about comics. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nothing surprising me talking about comics. It's Wednesday. The 3 books I got, and this is kind of interesting. I picked up one new book and two, I guess, back issues, as it were. Picked up the newest Captain America. And, well, actually, we'll talk about something else later. Picked up the newest Avengers, which was last week, I believe. And Nightwing, which I think was 2 weeks ago. And, first and foremost, the first thing, you see the price. Captain America Civil War. It's special. It's $4.99. It's $5. 30 pages of story. And I'm just looking at myself wondering, it's like, I spent, for those 3 books, I spent $12. And this goes back to my same problem I always have and have had since day one. How does a mother of 3 pay for comic books for her kids? And of course she doesn't. And we're still stuck in that kind of dilemma of what is the future. So I kicked around some ideas with some friends and talked about some stuff. And I'm just wondering, a long time ago, there used to be comic book newspapers that came out. And these were like regular sized newspapers and people would read them. They'd be comic related, sometimes comic books. Sometimes they would be, press things. But it was done on news, like a flimsy newsprint that, wet, throw away, get rid of them. Not a big deal. And I always wondered if we could do projects like that on that kind of paper. Maybe, maybe that's a thought. But, I think somehow, and this goes back to another, just the delivery of products to people. And comic books have the advantage of being a monthly release schedule. You build up a fan base, you build up the subscription, and then you basically just keep serving that fan base. And that's kind of what some of the other RPG companies have done. They built up a fan base. They started focusing on releasing product to them directly on a regular basis and giving them new and new products. And I think it's a good idea. I think it works well. It has worked well. I just wish there was a way to do it that wasn't so expensive, because it's the position starts to become what's more important, the release of the product at a reasonable price or just the release of the product. Because there's so many products that get released that are very expensive, and money is a finite situation. We've said that from day one. Money's finite. So if the money's finite and you want to get people interested, what's the most important thing to do? Is it to get them to buy the product or just use the product? Or, like I said, this is just one of those days of just a lot of confusion for me as a publisher and a guy looking at comic books and looking at their future and just noticing they're running into a lot of problems. I mean, okay, look, this new Civil War just came out. It's part of their Civil War piece. And, Captain America, it's up here in a small title, and it just says Civil War. That's the big pitch. And this book was, $5. And in a book that's $5, I'm not happy with the level of content. I'm not happy with the level of content. I'm also not happy that this is issue 4 on another restart, and DC just had their restart, and you just wonder, it's like, at what point, and it seems like comics are suffering from a problem that I've noticed that happens a lot in video games, and I think tabletop is starting to develop the same problem. It's the whole, we've saturated the market, we think. We've got to start and sell, we're going to do another number one or a new edition to get people interested in the game. And, there was a book a while back. I think it's still available. I'm talking about it now. Hey, John, what's going on? I believe the 27 or 22 Immutable Laws. Boom, 22 Immutable Laws of Branding by Reese. And it just talks about, this line differential. And we've gotten to a point where we just basically, we make products that are such watered down versions of the previous product before. And it gets to a point that, it doesn't even matter about the product we're making. Al Reese, and it's ALRIES, who wrote this one originally. I read this years ago. I'm trying to understand how to do business better. And it was just one of those books that I found to be very, very informative, very, very interesting. And it just, it just got me thinking about marketing. I mean, I've been involved with marketing now, nearly 25 years, as a graphic designer and advertising and creative. So I'm, I've dealt with that on a regular basis. But it's also just very interesting to see that, comics today they haven't figured out the basic idea. They're still kicking around the idea of, we're going to cancel a book and then restart at one again to get more people excited. And it's like, you can't keep doing number one books just for the whole concept of every book can't be a number one book. You can't, there's no longevity to the book. And I get it. You don't want to put a book out there that's so long that people can't connect to it. Like Action Comics. At one point, Action Comics was well over the 700s. And it's hard to get people to go back and read those books, those early ones, because they know, oh, dude, 700, I'll never read all that stuff. And that they've kind of taken away from. They've kind of taken the other side of being, you don't have to. You don't have to. You can read this book and it's a short story, a piece of this. And the problem is they forget the history that goes along with it. And I've noticed that specifically for comics, that's become a big issue, that, the history doesn't matter. The connecting stuff doesn't matter. We're going to rewrite history if we want, or even worse, we're going to take stuff that was actually really, really well done, and then we're just going to do it again and call it the sequel or addition or, Civil War II. It's like, you need to do a Civil War II? I mean, I can't imagine. Okay. The youngest comic book writer ever to be published in a major comic book was Jim Shooter. Jim Shooter went on to be a major influence at Marvel and we're talking the early 80s to late 80s, early 90s. His influence cannot be understated. The guy understood comic books better than a lot of people ever will, from a business perspective and a writing perspective. And it just was brilliant. I mean, he's one of the first guys who started the whole limited series idea concept that came over. I think initially, if I believe my history, I could be wrong. Don't judge me on this. But I believe he got the idea from Japan that they were doing those kind of books. And then that became big in America during the 80s. I mean, there were a lot of limited series, so many limited series. And it's like that kind of stuff you don't see anymore. It's like every book has to be a big book. Oh, we're going to be doing a whole big thing. It's like they can't tell short stories anymore. Because, okay, so the original name of this podcast was going to be the Levitz Paradigm. And if you don't know what the Levitz Paradigm is, it's named after Paul Levitz. It's actually from the DC writing guide. Can I see it here? Do I see it? If I see it quickly, I'll grab it for you all so you can take a look at it. Oh, I don't see it. And I know I have it. I just don't see it quickly. I keep seeing my GLA book. Oh, there it is. Okay, this book. If you don't have it, you should pick it up if you're a writer. It's a great book to understand writing. Oh, sorry. It's a great book to understand writing. I got mine sent by Denny O'Neil. That's kind of cool. Denny O'Neil. If you're not familiar with who Denny O'Neil is a infamously well-known editor who worked at DC for a very long time. Some of his creations are some of the most influential ones for Batman, including Ra's al Ghul. I think Ra's al Ghul is one of his biggest ones. And they have a little piece in here, which I agree with 110%, called the Levitz Paradigm. See, what's up here? Levitz Paradigm. It might be backwards here. I gotta check on that. So the Levitz Paradigm. Basically, what Levitz Paradigm does as a storyteller and someone who writes, it tells you how to juggle 3 stories at the same time. Now, that sounds like, well, how do you do that? And basically, he breaks it down to called an A story, a B story, and a C story. So the A story is the main story, and that's the main story that everyone's paying attention. The B story is a secondary story that may connect to the A, but doesn't have to, but can be a second one underneath. And the C story is another story on top of that. While the A story is running its course and runs out, boom, A story ends. When the A story ends, then the B story now becomes the A story. The C story becomes the B story, and a whole new C story happens at the end. And it just keeps doing it. It keeps going on the arc, boom, next story up, next story up. And then what it does is there's always the story going on. It's a great, simple idea that is not done in comic books anymore. Specifically, I mean, the majors definitely. But and the reason it's called Paul Levitz Paradigm, Paul Levitz developed it when he was working on Legion of Superheroes. And Legion of Superheroes had, what, 15, 16 characters in it? So you have all these characters. You got to fill out where they go. So let me see if I can go back to that page. No, not that one. This one. This is kind of interesting because he broke down. I don't know if you can see this very well, but I'll do it on the YouTube one in a second. See, he broke down what was going to be going on by character. You know, see, there's the issue numbers, and this character's going to be doing this, and this character's going to be doing this, and this character's going to be doing this, and this, and this. Okay, and that actually helped him with his whole Levitz Paradigm. I can't. Let me show you. Let me get you a visual representation. I'll do it low first. See? A, B, C. Stuff drops off. Boom, boom, boom. Up top. Yeah, this is a great book to understand writing. Even though it's for comic books, this is the DC Writer's Guide to Writing Comics. Actually, I'll put it in the notes right now. I know I talked about this book before. It's a fantastic book to read. Hey, Henry, what's going on? It's a great book to read if you want to understand, writing for comics. But it also is just a great idea to deal with writing long stories. Because you got to, things have to rotate. Things have to come in and out. People have to be interested in this character. They're going to be interested in that character. And there's so much going on. So you want to keep that kind of continuity flowing. I'm assuming that, even Game of Thrones uses some kind of technique like that. Because it makes a lot of sense. It does help you out in the long run. And it's just good. It's just smart. It's just smart to do. It's smart to do in the important part where it makes you money. So that's another thing. And everybody knows I love comics. That's never a question or even a slight surprise. My thing is I really wish that more than just liking comics and enjoying them, we could integrate them more into the businesses that we do. Look, we're in a creative business. We're in the creative business to tell stories. You play the stories, you play the adventures, and then boom. And Paizo has done a good job with their Pathfinder series. I think the Pathfinder comic books are a great way to show off the world that they've built for themselves and how to get other people who are comic book fans to like it. And it's tough, don't be wrong, because most people are like me. Look, I read comic books, I read the major companies, and I maybe get some independence. I'm a little more open to independence than most. But even still, I'm an old school kind of guy mentality. It's like, comic books are read like this, and this is this, and fantasy should be over here, and and some people don't believe that. Some people are more like, oh no, we can do whatever we want, we can make it cool, as long as it's cool, it doesn't matter. And some people believe that, right? I believe that, normally in theory, but in the sense of comic books, it takes a different, skew because it's so difficult to do comic books well, or at least they haven't really perfected it as that. So it's a tough thing. But what a smart thing, the very, very smart thing that Paizo has done and does very well is their iconics are in their stories. If you're going to have a campaign setting, any kind of campaign setting, Pathfinder, not Pathfinder, anybody, you need to develop your own iconics for your world. Because number one, it just helps, just makes it more real. if you look at Pathfinder's art, there are iconics appear in every piece of their art because they know when they're talking about the iconics and they're showing the iconics, they're showing part of their brand, and everybody doesn't always pay attention to that, but it's incredibly important, and it works. The important characters that you remember are characters you remember. Hey, Troy, are characters you remember because they were iconic. And they have a good story to go with them. I mean, Darth Vader is Darth Vader because everything goes on. I mean, the first time we see him on the screen in Star Wars, we're like, who's that guy? And then you find out that guy's story, and it makes it even cooler. The visual ties up very well with the history of the character. I think that's another skill that has to happen. I think they both have to play into each other. I always believe, and I always have believed, that comic books are the best kind of entertainment to see and read, to understand how to develop intellectual property. That's an automatic one for me. I think that is. I mean, comic books, yeah, I look to the right. I'm gonna grab some books. I think I might have shown some of these books last time because I think there's the same ones in my chair. But I mean, look, some of the stuff I just picked. Look at this Marvel fanfare. This Marvel fanfare. I was very close. In my head, Marvel fanfare. Paul Smith cover. Well done piece. Lovely Paul Smith artwork. One of the few books Paul Smith did in comics for Marvel. Because I'm thinking for Paul Smith and Mario was somewhere about maybe 30 books he's done. Beautiful artwork. Well done. 1982. 1982. I'm still reading this. I read this because the story's good. The art's good. It's. I can get inspired by this. What? I would say 30 years later, more than 30 years later, I'm still getting inspired by it, and then you have newer stuff. All right. This is the first part. Yeah. The War Kings. This came out 6 years ago. Let's see how many years ago. 7 years ago. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes sometimes. And this came out, and this is a cool idea. Artwork done by Paul Pelletier, one of my favorite artists. Another guy who understands how to do cool comic book art, classic stuff. Cool idea. Worked well as a series. Interesting. A little expensive. This one shot was $4. Marvel Fanfare back in 1982, which is the full length of a comic book, $1.25. Now, this book today, if we did this book on this slick, what's this band? This is like Baxter. No, it's better than Baxter. It's Mando paper. If we'd done this today, this book would probably be about $3.95, if not $4.99. No doubt. So sad. Look, $1.25. I would like, I'd like to go back and maybe check what the inflation rate would be. The money over time. I might do that after that as a note. I'm debating that, but it's just there's so many ideas out there that are interesting that help me tell stories. It's just comic books have that power, and talented work does not depreciate in value. No, it never does. That's true, Alan. It never does. And even some stuff that isn't always the most talented stuff. I keep this one around. Okay. I keep this DC Comics Universe Zero around for one reason and one reason only. This is not the greatest book, but it's got beautiful. Is this Perez art on this, or is this the other? I think this is Perez art on this. Let me confirm this, but I'd hate to do that wrong. George Perez, of course, still pretty good for an old guy. Cover work by Perez. It's very typical Perez, multi-people cover. Got it. But the cool thing I liked about this whole book were the ads they put in. And this was just a book. This book was $1.50. It's just promoting some of the products that were going on at the time. This is from 2008. And they were doing these ads. And I want to show you these ads. I want to show it down here. Boom. They were doing these ads that I thought were very, very simple. This ad, this page. It was really kind of cool, and it's like, boom, Batman. And then this is one of my favorite ones, the Wonder Woman one. I always thought this would be a good title for something. I don't know what. I don't know what, but that's a great title. And it's a simple ad. And, you know, I loved it so much when I saw it, and I kept it. I've always kept it around. You know, it's a cool marketing idea. You know, I just liked it. I really, really liked this. Boom. You know, it's the power of a few words and good design. And then like the last one, which is still, I mean, imagine that as a hook for an adventure. The day evil won. That's what you call the adventure. The day evil won. Boom. You know, people are interested just from that name alone. And that's what all it was. It was just simple ad material. It's a marketing book. That's all it was. Look at our marketing, check us out. But it got me so excited just even looking at that, going, wow, I love that. That's some awesome stuff. I love that marketing. I think that played into why I enjoy comic books. You know, the marketing is always strong. They do better marketing than we do. You know, they do much better marketing. You know, when you have to release a book every month with a cool cover to get people to look at it, you can see the progress over history from, you know, the classic traditional cover with a lot of text. Does that even one have a lot of text? Let me see if I can grab something quick. Geez, I got more books. This tells you how foolish. I mean, I got books everywhere. These are a little bit older. Let me see if I can find anything I can grab quickly. It's really sad when you have a pile of books around you, like all the time. And, well, okay, we'll just show you. Oh, yeah, by the way, if you ever want to know, I'll put this right here for a second. For graphic design, this Tangent series that DC did is still my favorite cover design. Put it up here, too. Is my favorite cover design ever done, without a doubt. I love everything about this cover. I think it's brilliant. I think it's amazing. And people are like, well, why do you think it's so amazing? Why do you think it's so brilliant? Look, okay. Company name, book name, right under there. Small, logo, right to it. Then you got the big logo in the middle. It's like right in the middle. It's huge. And then what they did, which was like, I don't even know if I call it brilliant or just really smart. I'll just show you both. All the indices of number, and then they have how much the product costs. What it's like the cost, and it's in English. It's English, French. Oh, let's go back. Just realize that it's English, French, and I think Japanese. I could be wrong. It's gonna be hard to see that. See, you might see that better on YouTube, but it's you know, it was a brilliant. Yeah, you probably have to check it out on YouTube. It was a brilliant design idea. Just a small little piece in the corner. They put the writer's name on it. They put a logo with a nice silver ink, and then they did like on the bottom they did icons. So what book you're reading, you could match up the icon, and they did this little thing. And this is like it tells you the dimensions of the book. If you never knew what the size of the comic book was, here's the dimensions. So, 6.5 by 10 inches. And they do it in metric, and they give you like what the paper the paper is composed of. It's just, it's just something crazy they did. And maybe this isn't the world's greatest series, but I always thought this graphic design for the cover was amazing. They really thought about it, and they all have that same white bar and the people coming out of it and the cool design in the background. I just love everything about this. I don't even know why. I just do. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think it was brilliant. I can't stop. Every time I find these, I try to collect these. But I think I've gotten everyone by now. But I just like looking at the covers. I'm a huge cover junkie, as you should be. If you're looking to do this stuff, you need to look at the covers. You need to see why stuff's impressive. You need to see why stuff is interesting. Let me give you a book, one of the greatest books ever written in comics. 100 Bullets. That's a cover. Now, if you read the book, you know how cool that is. That's even more so. But it's like, boom. Just, is this slick paper? Is this? That's newsprint. See, that's something else you'll find out when you start getting into looking at comics. Finding out what newsprint is, what the difference is, to see through it. I mean, this is very thin newsprint, but I can see right through the other side. But, the slick paper that people use now, but this is an old book. This book is... say 2000. It's if I pull it off, I'll be impressed. Maybe 2000? Does it even have in 2005? So this book is over 10 years old. They're still using newsprint. This book is on sale. This book is on sale for $250 on newsprint. 10 years later, the price has gone up $1.50 and on slick paper. Let's take a look at, okay, here's a great example. This is a better stock newsprint. It's still kind of thin, but it's a little thicker stock newsprint. This is The Blackest Night. This is from 2010. The price on this is, what's the price on it? I just saw it. $3.99. Just $3.99 price on this. The paper stock is a little bit better, but this is a special event, so maybe that's a, big ass covers like that. It's kind of cool. This is probably cost a little bit more. But this book is from April 2010, 6 years ago. Yeah, I'll use Negation. Negation's a good one to choose from. Negation is probably one of the most high-end books at its time when it came out. And they did everything right, which I believe they did everything right, except made some bad business decisions. But on comic books, they did awesome books. Different genres you hadn't seen before, stuff that was amazing. This book came out in 2004, did I see it? 2003. April 2003, this book came out. This book has a price of $2.95. Probably too high. For the time period, probably too high. Should have been less. But they did what they could afford. But this book is slick. It's amazing. It's beautiful looking. It's got so much stuff. It's a lot of good ads. I collect. If you didn't know, I collect cross-gen books for the marketing inside, because cross-gen came on the scene very quickly. They made some bad business decisions, but not bad comic book decisions. They're bad like guys up top thinking they knew comic books better than the industry and like that kind of stuff. So, I always tell people, go through comic books. Comic books are chocked full of cool information and ideas. Here's one. It's a Kurt Busiek, Carlos Pachenko book they did. Aerosmith. It's very fantasy based. It's kind of like, I guess it's fantasy during World War I, where these dragons teach people how to fly and they become like pilots, and it's kind of different. And if you notice in the cover, see, they're not just human beings. Look at that. Ooh, look at him. And they're coming to, of course, New York City, fleeing. I'm just amazed at some of this creativity and the ideas, and even when you go into any comic book, there's always ads in comic books. Take a second, if you don't do this already, take a second, look at the ads, see what makes it, awesome, see what makes it interesting. This is why comic books are so interesting. And this is why I keep telling people over and over, read comic books, read over them, look and see. There's awesomeness in these pages that you need to get and need to understand. Because let's be honest, a lot of you don't have experience doing art, doing advertising, don't have experience doing publishing, don't know a thing about it. You get involved with it. You read stuff from everybody else, and you think you know what you're doing, and you grab art, but you think you know what was best on the cover. Yeah. Boom. Simple cover. David Mack, I believe. Oh, Quesada. And Mack. Okay. What year is this? It's an old book. 2001. 15 years old. That cover still stands up. 15 years later. Is that a badass cover? Yeah, it's a badass cover. And that's what it should be. I tell you. There's great opportunities to learn in this stuff, but you got to be interested in it. You got to be interested. A lot of people are like, I'm interested in comic books. Don't think of it being interested in comic books. Think about being interested in publishing, because I know you're interested in that. You're not watching this because I'm talking about I am because you are interested, but I am talking about publishing. Well, thank you. But you're interested because this is kind of cool. Yeah, Troy. The problem with the vets having problems with the covers is they don't trust the art and the art director. Everybody wants to look. I didn't learn this for a long time, and I finally got this. Everybody wants to put their name on the cover. Everybody wants to put their name on the cover. That's why I stopped putting my name on the cover. Because everybody wants to have their name on the cover. They want people to see their name on the cover. It's a total ego stroke. I don't want to put my name on the cover. I don't need an ego stroke. The best kind of ego stroke I can get is making a successful product that makes us a bunch of money that we can make more products. That's my ego stroke. That's what I enjoy. That's what excites me. But I know writers need to see their name in the book because that's how they get popular. That's insane. You know, comic books have names on covers. I mean, you know, there's names on covers. What is the one I just had? So I can show you a comparison. You know, Marvel Fanfare, 30 years ago. You never saw anyone's name on a cover. Never, 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 never. And you might see someone's name on the back if you're lucky. Nowadays, names on the cover. Names on the cover. Names on the cover. You can't open a book. Names on the cover at the top. Names on the cover at the top. Look, names at the cover. You can't even open without it. And people, you know, say, hey, I want to see my name on there because I'm important. Yes, you are important. You do have your name on there. But if the marketing, the people are doing good, at least the people who are working with are doing good, they should be talking about you when they talk about the product. Here's the one thing I did learn from Donald Trump. And even though I'm not a big Donald Trump fan, he was right about this. I got to give credit where credit is due. He said, if you're going to name your company, name it after yourself. Because when they talk about you, they're also talking about the company. When they talk about the company, they're talking about you. It's vice versa. And they always use your name out there. You know, I'm not called Lewis Porter Jr. Design because I think it's a good name. It's called Lewis Porter Jr. Design because every time I talk about it, they mention my name. Lewis Porter Jr. Design. There's tons of guys who run businesses here that run 3.5 that you don't even know the name of the guys who run it because the name of the company is, you know, anything. You know, Steve Jackson Games. I wonder who runs Steve Jackson Games. Steve Jackson. You know, that's how simple it is. And by the way, if you think a name is all it takes to sell a book, you can put a lot of names on books with a horrible cover they won't sell. Troy, it happens all the time. You know, the book. There are tons of guys who write stuff who've written garbage. Let's call it like it is. You know, there are guys who've written books. They put their name on there just because they know they're going to their name on it and it sells. But the writing is garbage. It happens all the time. You know, I think if the cover's awesome and the pitch of the idea is awesome, you can put anybody's name on there and it might be. You can put my name on it, might be good. You can put, you know, Chris Claremont. You can put John Byrne. You can put Neil Gaiman. People might think, oh, it's Neil Gaiman. It must be good. You know, I'm sure he's written some bad stuff. I mean, I'm not a big Neil Gaiman fan, so. You know, Warren Ellis. I love Warren Ellis, and I'll pick up anything that has his name on it. But the same thing, I know that Warren Ellis has problems finishing books. So it's like, anything he reads, I put with a grain of salt. You know, but I get it. I get it. People want their names on stuff. I get it. I understand. I just don't need my name up there. I got my name and logo, and the best, like my best success is me going on my way to make sure we make more products for people to generate money and pay for their bills, and you know we can pay them well, and they can have a great experience. They can say, "Oh, I worked for Lewis Porter Jr. Designs. It was amazing. There was no stress, and I loved every moment of it." That's what I want people to do. But that's it. All right, it's 9:30 or 9:33 really. I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna go and relax. Tomorrow's our Thursday show. I didn't have anyone to interview, but I said I think I'm gonna start doing that like Labor Day. It's very that's true. It's the right name sells books. That is true, Troy. So I'm hoping to get somebody in here like after that. But you know how it is. It's everybody's getting back to school, getting their kids together. It's a crazy time. So I'm gonna see where that goes. But if it all works out, we'll have some more interviews on Thursday nights. That'll be our Thursday thing. Tomorrow, I might just ask some questions, maybe something controversial, and just take it and see where it goes and see what y'all get all crazy about that. As always, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for everybody who's been jumping on doing that. I do appreciate that. We got some more new people signed up. I'm very, very happy. We're getting closer and closer to 200. Where are we currently? I forgot. I don't think we lost any people recently. Because sometimes people leave. I don't know why they want to leave. We have an awesome show. It might be cake. You never know. There'll probably be cake. I'm not kidding. So we're at 186. We're only 14 away from 200. You know, we're trying to get to 200. That's our big number. So when does the undefeated results come out? Troy, what do you mean? The results of how to do sell-wise, or I just want to confirm what you're looking for before I jump off. See, white. See, this is the cool thing about live. Cake. I like cake, so there's a good chance there's going to be cake. Or at least a donut. let's not kid anybody. Donuts. Oh, if you're in South Florida, first and foremost, go check out Mojo's Donuts in Pembroke Pines. The best donuts you ever have. They have a bacon log. Bacon log. It's a donut with maple like syrup and bacon on it. And I kept saying, oh, I was like, oh, that sounds all kind of nasty. And then somebody explained it with the simplest phrase, and then I knew I was going to love it, which I did. He said, dude, donut, bacon, it's pancake and bacon. It's pancakes and bacon. And I'm like, oh, it is pancakes and then I shoved it in my gullet. It was the best thing I had in a long time. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Come on, Troy. Troy's not okay. I guess Troy's not. Well, Troy, put it in the post after, and I'll answer it directly there. So I've got to go. I've got to make some phone calls. I've got some crazy people I got to talk to. Then I got to yell at my editor, find out where my projects are because I want to get this stuff done. Because God knows I want to get stuff done. Plus, we have artwork coming in, and one of my favorite artists who's available for work. I don't have anything for him. I got to find something for him. It's tough in the life I do. It's a tough life. Oh my God, it's a tough life. All right, everybody. As always, subscribe. Check us out tomorrow. It'll be fun. Maybe cake. I don't know. Probably not cake, but you never know. All right, talk to you later.